Welcome back to the Marianne Hickman Show. And if this is your first episode, I want to give you just an extra special welcome. Our podcast has been running for a little over a year now, and we've had some incredible guests on the show. And I'm guessing the reason that you're here is that you want to grow your business through the power of your voice. You want to go in public speaking. And on this show, we bring on amazing, amazing guests. And we talk about business, and we talk about public speaking. We talk about many, many aspects. We talk about families and relationship, because here's the thing. You and I have both been raised in a culture that makes us think that we're supposed to have a business without a family and run our family like we don't have a business. And I'm just telling you right now that that is crappy thinking. It's detrimental thinking. It's going to erode your business and your family, which doesn't make any sense because we're trying to grow both because of both. And in today's conversation with Carlos Reyes, we address not only this balance, or better said, this harmony that we're going to be seeking, but we also talk about some of the most critical points in business generation overall, and that is partnerships. Doing business with the right people, doing business with people that have your back, doing business with people that you'd go to war with, and more importantly, what happens when you don't. There's some cautionary tales in here, and Carlos has paid millions of dollars to learn the lesson that he's learned by this episode. He told me, he said in this show that he told the lesson, the $10 million lesson that he had to pay the tuition for right here in this episode. So this episode may be worth $1 million or $10 million or $30 million to you if you nail the concepts that Carlos talks about during our conversation. Thank you for being here. And thank you for growing in integrity. Thank you for running your business in integrity. Maybe you are sharing this episode with one of your business partners, and maybe it's because you have developed that kind of relationship and you're growing together. And if so, I have you to thank, because we need more businesses like that. We need more businesses built on integrity. We need more businesses built with strong partnerships, because those businesses, the businesses with good people, with solid integrity behind it, those are the businesses I want to back. Thank you for checking this out. I'll see you in the episode. I'm so really just excited to connect with you again. I mean, when you called me about a year ago and said we want to do something together, I don't know what that meant. I still probably don't know what that means. But you know, that you're the kind of person I like spending time with. And thank you for letting us come and use your studio.
Our house is your house.
And same, whenever you're in Utah, you're welcome.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
First of all, love the red pumps. Wow. Right? Like,
I have to. Well, I was interviewing the Patriot Barbie. I was like, I gotta be red, white, and blue.
You're crushing it, right? So absolutely, you know, got so much love for you, got so much love for Rich, and I hope that this is a relationship that we nurture for the rest of our lives.
I feel that in my heart.
Right. I feel like you and us, we haven't even begun to open up what that story or book looks like, as far as us, you know, being able to reach and impact lives in the future, God willing, you know?
Yeah.
So of course I am so open to working with you, and you know what, I can tell you this from experience now. I've collaborated, I've partnered, I've done all kinds of different ventures in my career, right? And I'm in a season of my life now.
You made a pivot recently, it feels like.
Yeah. Well, we should talk about all of that, right?
Yeah.
But I'm in a season in my life right now where like less is more. And when you find high quality, you know, beautiful human beings with a very high level of standards and integrity, you want to keep the door open with those people at all times, because I can count with less than two hands, you know, the type of those type of special, unique individuals that I've met on my journey, you know. So you and Rich definitely are in that category for me, and I want to do, you know, more things together. Same.
And speaking of relationships, I want to talk about a little bit about relationships and relationship capital and relationship building. Because every time I'm here, which it's not a lot, but it's enough to pick up on the energy of what you have built. Because you're very selective with who you bring on your team professionally. I was just talking to Adrian. I got to give him the hugest hug. Melted my heart when he came down here. And he was like, yeah, I was just at was it a recital or a game with the family with you yesterday?
Oh, my daughter's softball game. Yeah.
And I was like, that.
It's like a family affair.
Yeah. And
if
the
one
family
kid
support.
has a game, the whole family has a game.
Right?
Football, softball. So, yeah, he was there yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you mentioned prayer. Do you start?
Prayer this morning. Yeah. So, the way that we run our operation is a lot different than a lot of other people. And all operations have their own uniqueness, right? Like, Google has their their pods and their chill spaces and right. We have Bible study, we have prayer, we have financial literacy class, we have a book club, we serve the homeless on a quarterly basis. We take our people to the best restaurant in town, Mastro City Hall.
You took us there.
Once a quarter,
my
right?
gosh, Carlos.
Yeah, it's beautiful, yeah.
You've been holding out on me with that one. That place was amazing.
You guys, I don't know when
Thank you
leave,
personally for that
but
meal.
That is the best, in my opinion, nationwide. That's the best steakhouse in the country. For me, by the way.
I had to go to the bathroom there. And the server, he's like, "Ma'am, can I help you? It's right this way." And they were like rolling out the red
You need some
carpet 'cause I
mints,
had
you
to
need
pee.
perfumes, you want a cigarette, right? They do it all,
It
right?
was amazing. I have goosebumps.
Yeah.
That place was an
and
experience.
Here's how I can prove to you that it truly is the best steakhouse in the country. Because I've been to the Salt Bay Steakhouse in Miami, right? Where they bring out the $1,000 steaks with the gold and all kinds of, I think that's another steakhouse I was at called Poppy Steak, right? I've been to all those steakhouses in Miami and New York, right? This is just the one that does it for me. It's not, by the way, it's nowhere near as expensive as, I remember I went to eat steak at Salt Bay's restaurant in Miami. I know that just for like 4 people, it might have been 6, we dropped over $5,000.
Holy crap.
On just like 4 to 6 people having dinner. And there was so much excess of steak that we didn't even touch. Like, I don't know. I just felt like I'm never coming back here. I'm like, dude, the food or the money or what was it? The squeeze, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze,
that's the one.
right? Yeah, it just wasn't worth it. So you guys, I don't know when you guys leave, but you need to get back there. Again to
Where's our dinner tonight? We have a wedding tomorrow. That's what brought us to town is a wedding.
wow.
So if we're not going there,
Yeah, they open around 6, so you guys should definitely. Yeah,
we'll have to go check it out. Okay,
it's amazing.
You start with prayer. And like I said, the energy when I come here, I see my people. I see Zadie and I see Adrian. There's some new faces now that I haven't met before, but they're so kind and they're so accommodating.
Marianne, I want to let you know that what you see is who they are.
Oh, and that you can tell.
Yeah, Zadie that's who he is. Adrian, that's who he is. Sal, that's who he is. That's who I am. That's who you are. That's who he is. And that's what makes this whole thing so unique,
Why do you think there's been so much, especially recently, and I know you and I have exposure to this, why do you think there's been so much what I'll call relationship fraud? Meaning like it's the word authenticity in and of itself has become, it means something that it doesn't mean what it used to. People throw it around like it means they're the real them, but it's a mask.
It's very rare now, and it truly is a unicorn.
Yeah.
Like if you are an authentic human being on social media, you technically are a unicorn on social media, because everybody is in that season of copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, right?
Yep.
It's like copy, paste, make money, copy, paste, make money, copy, paste, make money. 99% of people out there are just afraid to be themselves. They either don't love themselves enough, or B, they're going through some identity crisis, or C, they're experiencing some type of imposter syndrome, right? But most people, and I've been let down over and over and over and over. And guess what? I've even been let down to a point where I actually I dated and I vetted for over a year on 2 different occasions now, been let down. Like people that I vet, right? It's like vet, and then I dated them for months, phone calls, Zoom calls, back and forth, sharing life, blah, 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 dinner, flying in, flying out for over a year. And then, because I like to move strategically, then I'll move forward with a venture, and then it's like I find out another thing that I completely miss that it's not going to be good for the venture.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me twice in the past 18 months.
What is there a common denominator? I have a friend, David Sentner, who is writing a book on I think he's titling it How to Spot the Con Artist.
Wow.
And, right? You would love.
Can you send me that link? Because I would pick it up on
It's not
Amazon.
published yet, but when it's done, I'm going to buy you a copy and send it over to you.
Yeah.
I've got goosebumps because he sold his business, I want to say about 5-6 years ago. Maybe I'm calculating it, but it was in the billions that he sold it for.
Wow.
And ever since then, he's been approached by everyone and their dog about, as you can imagine.
Everyone wants a little piece of something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And there's been affinity fraud, and there's been bad relationships, and there's been good relationships, but there's this usury.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just happens. And so he's putting together this conglomeration of, here's 10 telltale signs. If they have 3, they're probably okay. But if they have 7, 8, 9, 10, then red flag.
I will definitely
away.
Pick that up.
I know, you and me both.
Right? I'm like, I've never been so convicted to pick up a book because it's painful.
Yeah.
It's really painful in so many different ways. It's painful. It's painful for you because it's like for me, because time is non-refundable, right?
Amen.
Time is non-refundable. I can't get that time back. I can't get that energy back. I can't get that time I miss with my wife, with my daughters to try to make this thing work. I can't get that back. So it is really painful, not only for the principal involved, but it's painful for anybody else that's involved too.
Yeah.
They this one person, because of whatever inadequacies that they are still suffering from, it spews over and it hurts other people.
Yeah.
So that's why it's really painful for everyone. And if I can avoid that, God willing, for the rest of my life, because I have now experienced it so many times, and and I thought I was like, I'm like, okay, I learned my lesson, right? Like, Like December 2022, my business partner Sal and I were defrauded for over $5 million in income from 2 of our ex-business partners in Egypt. Right?
What?
Yeah, they were defrauding us, and they were what you call recircumventing. They were recircumventing clients from February of 21 to December of 22. Finally, we had enough physical evidence to bring to the table to say, hey, listen, because I had already brought it up twice. Hey, this so-and-so told me that you were doing this. No, of course not. Don't believe them, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. Boom.
Because we want to hear that, right?
Yeah. Next, another allegation comes up. Another different person in a different geographical location of the country. Hey, these guys are doing this, and this. Hey, this other guy just told me that you're doing this, and this. What's going on? Like, this is a pattern. This is beginning to happen very consistently.
These things? Yeah.
Right? Hey, I got this email from you from this shell company that seems to be linked back to your company, making me an offer to recircumvent me from the company that we share to take them over to your company. Why is this happening? No. That's not the case. That was an accident, blah, blah, blah. Until we gathered enough physical evidence, I'm talking about financials and spreadsheets, right? And proof, concrete proof, dialing system, software, right? Clients. Until we gathered all that, then we brought it to the table in December 2022, and they finally confessed, yes. Like, you caught us. I got it on video, by the way, because it was a recorded Zoom call.
Yeah.
So that was December of 2022. And I'm like, I thought I learned, I call it the $5 million lesson.
Okay, that's what I want to
I thought
teach.
I learned. I'm like, okay, moving forward, I will not do business with someone who I don't vet thoroughly, who I don't date for months or if not even a year, right? And then I will take the necessary paperwork, precautionary measures.
Right.
Documentation beats conversation. I'm going to make sure that I am protected, right? Paper wise, document wise, before I make another some type of joint venture or collaboration with anybody, right? Partnership.
Yeah.
And that's the stance that I took. And then I did it in 2023, right? I did it in 2023, and then this one individual, it didn't work out. There was a lot of misfires with a lot of different things, and that didn't work out. And then it happened again recently. A guy that I initially started dating in February of 2024. We launched in February of 2025. We served a lot of people, made a good amount of money serving people, right? Teaching them how to build and scale their companies to exit in the trades. And then he pulled out last week. And he just said, hey, I'm not ready. I'm gonna focus on my company, my business, and I'm gonna just focus on doing what I got to do. Right.
So this is no longer a $5 million lesson. This tuition is
honestly, it's way north of like 10 million.
Wow.
Excuse me. For sure. Yeah.
I went into college and I spent $100,000 on tuition learning that I shouldn't go to college.
Oh.
Right?
Wow.
And so
I wish that would have been 50.
I know. You and me both. Well, now you're sitting at
You went to an expensive college.
I did.
Wow.
Yeah,
what was it, BYU?
Yep.
Of course. That is very expensive.
I called it.
Yeah.
You'd think we'd get a 10% tithing discount, but no.
Right? If you would have went to any other kind of normal university, you would have been way under 100.
And they didn't even serve coffee in the cafeteria.
Well, you wouldn't think that they would. You know what I mean? Right? Yeah. Anyway, but yeah.
But so you got a $10 million tuition.
The learning tax,
right?
AKA the dummy tax is what some people call it.
Yeah. But I'm of the mind, and I know that you are too, of if I'm going to pay $10 million or $100,000, then I have to learn the lesson that comes from that. And based on our proximity that we've had to each other, I have been so deeply impressed at the way that you show up, at the way that you follow your gut, and at the way you treat people, even when they're quote unquote the bad guy in this scenario.
Or how about when they can't do anything for me? I'm still going to treat them the same way.
Yeah.
I'm going to treat them and I'm give them the same type of love and advice. Now, it might not be the same amount of time, right? It could be an exchange. It could be a picture or a handshake or, whatever, right? Compared to like someone says, hey, I intentionally want to hire you to help me scale my business, right? That's a whole different story, obviously.
Sure.
But nonetheless, I'm going to treat everyone the same way.
Where does that come from?
I think honestly, just my upbringing, my mother,
I love the story of your mother so much. Every time I hear you talk about that from stage, and even the most recent events with your brother's book chapter, that chapter finally getting a period on that end of that sentence, she fought tooth and nail for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She's bringing dinner over tonight.
Is she?
Yeah.
Will you give her a hug for me?
Absolutely. She's. Again, I always say that's been my biggest financial accomplishment, or one of the two. Two of my biggest financial accomplishments have been retiring my wife and retiring my mother. Mm-hmm. Those are two of my biggest financial accomplishments. It's not the businesses that we've built. It's not the fancy cars that, it's not this office that we bought back in 2019.
By the way, Lindsay came in here. She's like, this is goals. This is
really?
gold. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
She was so sweet. Beautiful. She's out there in the parking lot. She's like, I got my Toyota Camry and there's a Porsche next to it and the Porsche next to it. I got to figure out what's going on here. So
that's amazing. What a blessing.
She's so sweet. You're going to love her.
And you know what's crazy? Who's that? The Barbie?
The Patriot Barbie.
Beautiful. Yeah. You know what's crazy? Sal and I haven't even tapped into half of our potential. I feel like the last decade we've been learning how to be these 9-figure entrepreneurs, we haven't tapped into our potential, we praise God. We've been annual revenue wise, we've been surpassing over $10 million since 2018. Right. And we were scheduled initially back in 2022 to hit 42 million in gross revenue. And then that year ended up being a year of decline, actually.
Really?
2023 and 2024 were officially the two toughest years in our history.
I don't think that's unique to you.
But guess what?
Widespread.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I would say so. But I was going to say, but guess what? God is so good that we still surpassed, $10 million in annual revenue, even though those were really tough years.
Yeah.
So we got through it. I feel like those 2 years remember, December 2022, we find out that one of the companies that was doing about $14 million in annual revenue is completely about to just blow up, in a bad way.
Yeah,
it's going to it's going to be extinguished, right?
Yeah.
Because of the betrayal of the partners. So now we got to start that all over again. We got to start that from the ground up. And that was a company that we had already been working for 5 years.
Wow.
Actually, 6 years, because it was December of 22, not the beginning.
Yeah.
Imagine that company, you built it up. You have over 800 plus employees in that one company.
800?
That's right, 850 employees at the peak of July 21. Yeah. We have over 3,000 campaigns that come through that company. It was just such a blessing. And then boom, it blows up in your face because of the lack of integrity. And now you got to start your 8-figure company from the ground up.
From scratch.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, you know how difficult that is?
Oh, yeah.
This isn't a $1 million. It's not a $1 million company, right? Or a $3 million company or a $5 million. This is a $14 million annual revenue company that you now have to start from scratch all over again, from the ground up.
Mm. And you did it.
And we did it.
Yeah.
We might hit 10 million in that company this year.
I
know we'll be north of 8, which is a blessing. But that right there is here's the reality of that company. We want to build it. We want to scale it to exit. I mean, imagine if once that company's doing 30, 40, $50 million, and it's structured from A to Z, right? Mm-hmm. We just want to sell it. We want to exit.
And that's where this conversation of relationships comes back.
Yeah.
Because I have come to learn, someone put this really well, and I'm going to butcher it because I can't remember exactly what they said, but the principle is infused in me. Nothing happens in business unless you have a personal relationship. Nothing.
Yeah.
You don't exit a company unless you have a relationship with the person who's buying it, because they got to vet you and date you and figure out all these things. You don't get clients unless you have a relationship. You don't build a team unless you have a relationship. So I want to know the $10 million lesson. If you paid the tuition for it, every time you share your $10 million lesson to anyone that's listening, that's another $10 million that they save from learning from what you learned. So what's the lesson? What's the number one thing?
Thank you. You're such a great interviewer. Seriously, right? Well, here's the problem, or I don't like using the word problem. I like using the word challenge, right?
Yeah.
Here's the challenge for a lot of people. First of all, a lot of people are scared to go into business by themselves. Right? By themselves.
Outside of a W-2, you're saying, as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Or to just get into a venture, right? Yeah. Like, let's just say that you feel like you want to flip a house. It's like in many cases, there's a lot of different justification and reasoning why you don't do things by yourself. Mm-hmm. You partner up with a friend or a family member or whatever, a mentor, right? And that already is the wrong start, right? To partner up for the wrong reasons, which is like, out of fear, that's already the wrong start.
Like, I can't do it, so therefore I have to have a partner.
That's right.
Then you're already...
Right. There's a lot of different, I would say, agreements out there, and leveraging points that take place, such as you have the capital, I don't have the capital. Let's partner up. Let's make this happen. Right. That happens often.
Belief, though.
No. That happens often because, I feel like every single person in this country should be able to make a significant amount of money. They don't have a money problem. They just have a creativity problem. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Like,
I agree with
that.
Like
if I didn't know nothing about real estate, all I got to do is get creative and get resourceful, right? And start. Actually, that's how I started the game of real estate. I was the guy in people's DMs reaching out.
Slipping into your DMs.
Like reaching out like, brother, I love what you're doing. Can I buy you a cup of coffee? Can I come to one of your flips, right? These guys that to this day, I still think very highly of them. They're amazing human beings. Man, they did. Some of them gave me the time in the day, and I, they didn't really want coffee. They just like, you know what? I'm going to give this young man a shot.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember this one meeting. You have 15 minutes between my meetings. What's going on? Right. And then I walked away with great advice. He's like, hey, this was a real estate advice. He was like, hey, if you're going to get into the game of real estate, just remember this. Number one, it is and always will be a reputation business. Boom. Principle number one.
Dude, that's for everything.
You see what I'm saying? Right.
Everything.
Principle number two, right? It's like, always have an exit strategy before you even get into a property. Boom. See, so the guy was firing off for the 15 minutes we had. This guy gave me years of experience, just like you're asking me now, right? So yeah, I would say before you ever get into any type of partnership or venture, right, do what I do, which is vet, date, and then get into bed with them, right?
Not literally.
Yeah.
Just figuratively.
Business bed. Business bed, right? Yeah, business bed, for sure.
Those are different business partnerships.
And here's one thing there's another step that you should take that I haven't taken that I will begin to take.
Yeah, it's the AP course right here.
Meet their family. go to dinner with the wives and then get the kids together. Yeah. Listen, if you're talking multi-million-dollar type of partnership and venture, do that. Don't be shy, right? Or don't be hesitant to get to me. Okay, I met the operator, I met the partner, right? Let's have dinner with the wives. Let's put the wives together. By the way, the Japanese do these kind of things all day. There's a reason, right? I want to really see your character. I want to see your character in business. I don't want to see the social media character, because we know that 99% of that is one. It looks so real, but I want to get to see the real you in every aspect of your life. I want to see if you really are who you say you are. I want to see if you really are, a good businessman, an ethical businessman that is here to serve others. I want to see if you're a good husband. I really want to see what kind of relationship you have with your wife. I want to see if you're a good father. Are you really giving your children like the time, the love, the attention that they need to become productive members of society, right?
Yeah.
Are you really that person? And then make a decision. And even when you make that decision, still do what I do and make sure that everything is on paper.
I would really admired, we were doing an event together a couple of years ago, and you flew home to pick up your daughter from school.
Yeah.
My jaw hit the floor. I was like, he's flying all the way back home to Arizona. His speaking spot on stage, he doesn't care. If it comes up against his flight time, he's not doing it.
Yeah.
Because he's got to be home to pick up his daughter.
That's
and
right.
that reprioritization,
Yep.
I was almost ashamed.
Wow.
At how much I had it backwards.
Yeah.
Because I was missing out on things with my kids.
Yeah.
That, I hadn't promised them I would pick them up. I made sure they got home okay.
I
right?
get it.
But I wasn't being mom like I knew I should. That was my rules for me. And you gave me that example, and I was like, I got to start saying no to more stuff.
It's not easy to do what we do and be who we are, right? We're husbands, we're wives, we're mothers, right? We're daughters. Like, Mom, I got to make sure I'm a good son. I got my mom's coming over today. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
I got to call her in the morning and see how she's doing. How are you feeling? How's the diabetes? What was your measuring this morning? Oh, you're under 120. Okay, let's get that down to 90. You see, these are things that we have to be. We're teachers, we're students, we're husbands, we're businessmen, we're everything, right? And I'll say this, something I learned from one of my mentors was, he said, hey, don't schedule the family around business, schedule business around the family. And that's what I do now. I schedule everything around my family. I'm at that age too, right? I think that you should if you have kids, get to that level of flexibility and that freedom as soon as possible, where you can schedule your business around your family. Everybody has it backwards. Everybody schedules, their family around business. Hey, babe, can you come to the softball game? I don't know. Let me check. Can you imagine like what that feels like if you're my wife imagine if you're my 12-year-old daughter that's in the kitchen and mom's asking if I can make the baseball game today. And I'm sitting there like, well, I don't know. Let me check what my schedule looks like. No, that's not
Do you know what they're hearing? They're saying other things are a priority.
No.
And Carlos, I have done this. I've made this mistake.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like,
I'm like, okay, you're speaking from experience.
No,
wow.
yeah. Well, I mean, I was in the hustle.
Nothing to be ashamed about. Absolutely.
Right?
We all go through it.
Yeah, we do. And I was a single mom of 5 kids at one point, and it really was, if you want to keep the house,
put food on the table.
I got to get up and I got to do this. Right. And there were times that I missed and I messed up, and those moments I have vowed to never do again.
Okay, let me tell you this though. Don't feel guilty and don't feel shameful, and I'll tell you why. Yes, of course, one of our biggest responsibilities as parents is to nurture and love and spend time, right, and mold and form this beautiful human being that's going to have his own place and his own purpose or her own purpose in the world. Yes, that is a big part of our responsibility.
Big time.
Do you guys know what our number one responsibility is as parents, as men, as husbands, as fathers? To provide and protect. That's our number one.
Preach it.
Seriously. That is our number one. Hey, I get it. Like, we should spend time with our family. We should go to those softball games. We should take them to school. We should pick them up from school, right? We should ask about their day. We should help them with their homework. We should. But our number one responsibility is to put food and clothes and a roof over their heads. Yep.
And when I was a single mom, I had to get up at 4 a.m.
So that's why it's like, hey,
right?
you did the best.
And that's why I give myself
could.
grace. And
That's
I think
right.
anyone that's listening that's going through that and they're having to do the hustle, give yourself some grace for where you're at.
Well, what did I just say earlier? If you're a business owner, or even if you're a W-2 person out there, right? Whether you're a W-2 employee or an entrepreneur in a company or a business owner / entrepreneur, try to get to that level of freedom and flexibility as soon as you can. How do you get there? See, now I'm asking you the question.
Well,
See,
how do
right?
I get there?
How do we get there? Well, how about we start this? If you're a business owner, structure your business to a level where you can automate it and you can delegate it and you can step away. Like, I'm not needed in the day-to-day operations of my businesses. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
Yeah.
Adrian handles all real estate. I don't know if you knew this, but he was not too long ago, it was earlier this year, he was promoted to VP of operations of property, and he has been doing such a great job.
Let's go.
We got a contract. We're doing about a contract a day right now under him.
Carlos, that's so neat.
And we've been through, no disrespect to the Brandons, because I love Brandon. You remember Brandon's such a great guy.
Yeah.
The Brandons of the world, the Max Jimenez of the world, another great person, great leader. Adrian just knows how to run that business. And you know, he ran that business at a multiple 7-figure level for several years. And he's back doing that, and we're having a great time. We're picking,
that's so wonderful.
we're flipping, we're wholesaling, we're novating. I mean, it is. And you know, here's another thing. 23 and 24, they weren't great years for real estate. We didn't know.
Overall.
I don't think anybody knew, right? Like,
Well,
they
you
weren't
never know
great
when you're
years.
in it.
That's what I'm. Well, yeah, there weren't great years for real estate. They weren't great years for restaurants. They weren't great years for businesses in general.
For sales floors,
40,
it's
yeah,
hard.
exactly. Like, those 2 years were tough. We didn't know. I mean, we're not Ray Dalio. Like, we cannot predict where we are in the economy or where we're gonna be in the economy. You know what I mean? Right? All we can do is do the best that we can, you know, during whatever season is upon us.
And do what you said, is serve the most people possible.
That's right.
That really is. I've heard that as hyperbola and in cliche phrases all the time, but there's a reason it gets said all the time.
Real.
It's because it's true.
It's real. So I was reading an article recently, actually, I think it was Tuesday morning. And this article, it was interviewing one of Elon Musk's early baby mamas.
Oh.
Because he has about 6 baby mamas. My man Elon Musk has about six baby mamas.
I know, right? I'm like, okay, multiply and replenish to the next level. I don't even know what your game is.
He's not thinking, you know, morally or, you know, religiously.
It's mathematics.
Yeah,
it's
for
all
him,
data.
it's an algorithm, and it's duplication, automation, delegation.
How do I get
right?
the most IQ into the world as possible?
That's right. And then we're going to need it, right? Especially if we're trying to get to Mars. But watch this. This article is interviewing, you know, one of his early baby mamas. And they asked her, like, hey, did you always know that Elon Musk wanted to become a billionaire? Did he ever mention it to you? He's like, no, he never really cared about, you know, the type of money he was going to make. He just wanted to come up with products or services that were going to serve the world at a massive level. And by default, he became
That's
a
what
billionaire.
she said.
Yes.
And now, just yesterday, he launched the rescue mission
I don't
for the
even know
space
what that
station.
is.
So these astronauts have been stuck up in space. They're supposed to be on an 8-day mission.
Jeez.
It's been 8 months, Carlos.
How can you hate that guy?
8
How can you want to burn?
months.
Seriously, look at this guy came up with the whole like rescue protocol mission to go get these fathers and husbands and mothers that are stuck in space. Right?
And
like,
you just
that's
watch.
a milestone.
He's going to do something because your body atrophies. When they get back to Earth, my bet he's going to have a recovery protocol for them because their bodies are going to be like stick figures now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You just watch. Right?
It's just like, how can you hate this guy? Right? How can you be burning Teslas on the street?
You got nothing better to do with $100,000. Like, come on.
Like, how are you burning Teslas on the street? You know, like this dude is trying to help humanity. I know some 50% maybe, well, excuse me. Yeah, 50% of the country might not see it or know it. I truly believe that he's doing the best that he can with the skill set that he has.
That's a blanket statement for a lot of people, I think. There's people that do poorly, but maybe there's some grace in it that says they don't actually know better.
Yeah.
As hard as that is to
Most
say.
don't. We
you
don't.
know?
We don't read. We don't do our own research. We just take people's word. We're very gullible, right? Is that
That's because we want the best. We want to hear the best. We want to accept the best.
Or we want to believe whatever we want to believe. Whatever feels safe.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever feels
It's
safe.
that confirmation bias that we all have.
Absolutely.
With the last couple of minutes that we have, I want to throw kind of a surprise question at you. I know you're down for it.
For sure.
Will you share your testimony with me?
Yeah. What does that mean?
I want to know the core of your faith and your testimony of our Savior, because I know that you wear it on you, but you wear it so...
I think I have it on my hair right now.
You do. But you wear it so proudly, and it inspired me when I was first getting into social media to be unashamed of not just religion, but faith, which I believe to be deeper. And I want to know what your faith tells you and your testimony of your faith.
It's simple. Even though I've been in the world of religion since I was 5 years old, probably even before, because I was presented to the church when I was a year old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was presented to the church, right? For me, it's never been about religion. It's about relationship.
That's exactly what Lindsay said, quote for quote.
Yeah, I don't care too much for the politics and the structure of religion. I don't
either.
However, right, I deeply care about my relationship with our Creator. So nobody gets confused, right? We're talking about the Hebrew God, right? We're talking about Jehovah, right? Adonai. I mean, he has a lot of different names, right? We're talking about that God, right? That Creator, Yahweh, right? And I care deeply about my relationship with Christ. We're talking about Yeshua, right? We're talking about the Son, right? I want to be like what's funny here? Some of my heroes, right? We all have heroes. Some people may have like Jordan, Babe Ruth, whatever.
Sure.
Christ is my number one hero. Christ is my number one hero. Like some of my heroes are like Jesus Christ, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Like these are some of my heroes, right? Christ is the ultimate example and hero for me. Like that's who if I can choose to be anyone with my life right now, it would be to be like Christ, to be Christ. Because I try to be like Christ every day, right? I live in obedience, right? Do the next right thing in the next right way, love people, follow the two biggest commandments, which is, what were the two biggest commandments from Christ? It was love God with all your heart, all your mind, all your being, right? And love thy neighbor as you love thyself, right? So I try to follow those two commandments every day. But of course I wish I was like Christ. Of course I operate at that level of Christ consciousness. Of course I wish I can heal others. And I know that the scriptures tells that I can, right? And every time that I pray for someone, I intentionally do that. But Christ, he actually, he did these miracles while he was on earth, and there was heavy witnesses that were even willing to die for what they saw and what they believed. You know what I mean? So that's where my foundation and connection comes from,
And what I'm hearing you say, and it's funny that we started this conversation all about relationships, and now we're coming back to the relationship. I don't think you can really, really call someone your hero unless you know them well enough.
Absolutely.
To call them your hero.
Absolutely.
I know that if you're going to name Franklin Delano Roosevelt as your hero, it's because you've studied him.
I've done some research.
You've
on
done
him for
your
sure.
research. You know about it,
yeah.
and to hear you say that. I've never heard it framed that way before, that my number one hero is Jesus Christ, but there's no better way to say it.
Yeah.
And based on what I know of you, it has to come from study, and not more than study, but a relationship
For sure.
with the person.
Absolutely.
So that's
Absolutely.
my takeaway from that.
For sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This is going to be great.
For coming on the show.
Yeah.
I am so grateful. If people want to get close to you and learn what you're doing and learn what you're all about, where do they find you?
At Carlos Reyes on Instagram, at Carlos Reyes. And say hello, reach out, I'm here for everyone,
Okay, and we'll put that in the show notes.
For sure.
100%.
Absolutely.
Friends, this is Carlos Reyes, one of the most wonderful people on the planet. Thank you for being here. If you love this episode, send it to someone. If someone's name came up for you in this episode, send this to them because they're praying for what you just heard. Thank you for being here on the Marianne Hickman Show. We'll see you. Hey, what's up? Marianne Hickman here. Hey, listen, I hope you enjoyed that episode. We have some pretty amazing speakers on my podcast and, of course, more to come.
If this is something that you enjoyed, guys, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. You guys know what to do. I love your comments and I respond to every single one of them personally, not a bot or an agency. So if this is something you're enjoying, tell me about it. Tell me your gold nuggets. I want to hear from you. But here's the most important thing I want you to laser in on. I told you about the podcast database. You've probably seen me post about it all over social media. I want to make sure that you get it. So here's what I want you to do. Go to mariannehickman.com/database. Once you put all of your information in there, I'm going to send you the document. You request access to it. Boom, it's unlocked. Once you're in there, my rule of thumb is to apply to 10 podcasts a month. It's very digestible. It's very easy to do. And the database gets updated twice a week. So I want you constantly checking back in there for the next podcast that fits your audience. Thank you for being here. Much love to you, and we'll see you in the next episode.